So I'm watching it over here just to make sure everything is good. I'm so excited about tonight's show. So excited about tonight's show. I have 4 amazing lesbians, studs, AGs, whatever you want to call it. We'll discuss labels a little later. Did we just lose one? I think we lost Sharika.
No, I'm here. I got a call.
Okay. Bring it on back when you bring it on back. Deanna, we lost your face. Okay. Here you go, everybody. Oh, my beautiful guest is back. All right. So I'm going to start with D-Rock, and we're going to introduce you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 42. Just turned 42 July 22nd.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm happily married, been married for 3 years, together for 6.
Aww.
Together we have 7 kids.
Wow.
Yes.
You got the real life Brady Bunch.
Yes, we do. 5 girls, 2 boys. Yes. And I recently, a few months ago, I wrote my first book, D-Rock's Melodies. I'm working on number 2.
Wow.
So, yes. So it's pretty interesting, you know.
Okay. Deani, tell us a little bit about you. What is that over here on your nose? What's going on with the Band-Aid?
Oh, and can we not discuss my face? I've been having problems with my face for a couple years.
Okay. I thought it was a style. Didn't like Nelly used to put a Band-Aid underneath his eye or something?
You gotta quit calling me. Hold on a minute.
Okay. We're going to go to Jax. Hey, Jax.
I'm sorry.
Hello.
It's okay. Hey, Jax.
Okay, I'm Jax, MJ, Miranda, whatever you want to call me. I'll be 39 in September. I personally birthed 19. He's 19 or 18. I'm sorry, he's 18. Spent a couple years in the military, Army, and I am in the environmental health and food safety field. Been there for like 10 years.
Okay. Sharika, what's up?
What's going on, y'all? I'm Sharika. I'm 34. I'm happily married. I'm a mechanic, and I got 2 little girls, and they a handful, but life is good.
Oh, and we back to you, Deani. What's going on?
All right. Yeah, regardless of my face, but I'm old. I got a 24-year-old son. I work in the aerospace industry as a top coat and primer, and that's why I've been for the past couple of years there, and looking to do a little traveling and meeting new people. I'm single. I have a friend, but I'm single. But about really it, you know. My life revolves around my family and making sure their needs are met, things like that. But I'm glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, I'm so happy to have all of y'all on because I really just wanted to break down how we as a community thinks about sex. So, you know, in the Pretty Tomboys group, we post questions every day to engage in conversation. And one of the questions was what to do with a touch-me-not. So let me just explain to people who don't know what a touch-me-not is. That is in our community, the LGBTQ community, a person that doesn't want to be touched. And on the dominant or stud or aggressive side, they call it a touch-me-not. On the more feminine side, they call it a pillow princess. Well, pillow princess doesn't want to touch you. She wants to be touched and don't do anything else. So in this conversation, the majority of the group was saying, throw them in the trash. I mean, it's lighthearted, but, you know, trash them. And in the middle of that, I saw a couple of you say, why? You know, I'm a touch-me-not. Why throw me in the trash? And it was all in fun. I'm sure nobody meant any harm out of it because we talk about everything from body to sex, from things in the community. We touch everything. But I wanted to break the stigma of why everybody felt like they should throw a touch me not in the trash. And they actually was saying the same thing about the Pillow Princess. When that question came up the next day, they was like, oh, trash her or give her to a touch me not, which would kind of balance out. So we're going to unpack that today on how do you feel about it and your stance, what made you come to that conclusion, so on and so forth. We're going to unpack that today. So let's get into Sharika, because your story is interesting. You was a touch me not, and then you got married, and you no longer touch me not.
Right. So pretty much, for me, I primarily dated straight women. So with me dating straight women, it was always me giving the pleasure. I use, the strap. I can talk. We can be open. I use your strap.
Yeah,
on.
we're
So
going to be very open today.
That was what I was used to. Oh, okay, we can do that. Okay, I just want to make sure. So that's primarily like that. That's what I did. And so my wife is the first lesbian that I actually dated. And so when we got together, I got out of a long-term relationship. And you know how it is. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be more open. I'm going to try new stuff and just kind of go. I experienced shit I never experienced before. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm missing out on something. And it wasn't necessarily just the physical feeling. It was the fact I had tried with, previous relationships to allow them to do that. For one, like, penetration is not my thing. That's not something I like. So just being touched, like, especially with my breath, it just was, it almost like pissed me off like that. It didn't do nothing for me. And then when they did try to give me oral, it wasn't enjoyable at all. So with my wife, I don't know, it's because she is a lesbian. She knew how to do it. She made me feel comfortable. It was a certain confidence that she did it with that didn't make me feel like a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt comfortable enough to allow her to do that. And so once I was open up to that, I haven't looked back pretty much.
I like that point that you made, because I do feel like a straight woman would not know how to give, and this is just my opinion, and I've never dated a straight woman, but I could just imagine that a lesbian that focuses on the woman body would know how to give head better than a straight woman. And
from my experience.
In your experience, right. But in my opinion, I would just imagine that would be true. Because she would have more experience. A straight woman is not giving that type of head. Giving a man head is not the same way that you give a woman head. Totally different. So She would not have that type of experience at all. Even if she was bisexual, she wouldn't have that type of experience on a regular basis. But to contradict myself, I have been with women that never been with a woman before, and I was their first, and they gave amazing head.
Yes, indeed.
So, and you're like, who taught you?
Practicing undercover.
But, so being devil's advocate, it could go either way. But I'm sure that your wife had an emotional and mental connection with you that made it all connect as well.
Oh, yeah, that's like the icing on the cake. That, you know what I mean? Like, more than, like I said, it's not just a physical thing. It was definitely an emotional thing because she was at me for a long time. So she had to put her best foot forward You know, like she was at me all through high school. And so, you know, it was like 10 years after high school, we ended up getting together. So she had to put her best foot forward. So it definitely worked. It definitely worked in both our favor.
All right. Well, I can see how that works. I can see. So you never dated a lesbian to your wife, and the straight women that you dated, they just didn't do it for you. So it made you just not want them to touch you.
Exactly. And that's what I was already used to. Like I said, I was never into that. You know, especially like I said, the whole, you know, touching on my breast, want to lick on my breast. I'm like, no, I was happy giving pleasure. And also, and for everybody it's different. I would be able to get off using the strap on. Some people say they can't. And so I still was able to, you know, orgasm doing what I was doing. So it worked for me just fine. I didn't feel like I needed anything else.
Right.
Okay. All right. So Deani, you are a single, quote unquote, touch me not. How does that work for you? And do you encounter women that when you tell them that, they're like, I want to touch you, it's not going to work?
Well, I'm like the first speaker. I've never been with a lesbian. It's always been a straight woman or a woman portrayed. Maybe she's bisexual or maybe thought she was, but in the end she wasn't fully lesbian. So I never enjoyed it. It makes me uncomfortable actually to, you know, to be grabbed on or touched on. So I just prohibit it altogether because I get my pleasure by pleasing her, you know, by her getting aroused and things of that nature. If she getting aroused, I'm getting aroused, and, you know, I can have an orgasm off of a strap or giving head or whatever it may be, even massaging the body, things like that. Is the intimacy that does that for me. I don't prefer head or touching of my breast or anything like that. That's, you know, but that is an option when I find, you know, my wife. That's what, you know, that's gonna make everything just blossom at that point. Like I'll be able to be totally free with her, how she wants me to be, and things of that nature. But it does nothing for me, you know. I get my pleasure by pleasing my woman.
Okay, that's totally understandable. And you are open that when you find that special person to allow them to explore you fully.
Yeah. When I find her, I mean, it could take, you know, she has to do some strategic things, you know. It has to be the strategy she takes to be able to, you know, get that. Because, you know, I consider my private parts like it's like a jewel, as if I consider my love is valued, you know, at a state that most aren't willing to pay or wait on, or, you know, things like that. But, you know, eventually when she arrives, I'm going to know that's her. And I'll be able to free myself. And, you know, if she wants to do it, we will. And if, you know, it's no big deal if we don't.
Okay, that's understandable. D-Rock.
What's up?
You're married, you have the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
You got all that going. How do y'all have time to have sex with 7 kids?
Listen, we have kids that range from 12 to 19. But at one point, all 7 of the kids we were all up under the same roof. But, you know, we made it work. You know, they bedtime, you know, was a certain time or whatever. We had made sure we had our grown folk time. You know, but we made sure that, you know, we spent time with the kids first. So when it was grown folk time, you know, folk weren't knocking on the door. I need this or I need that. You know, but, you know, you have to make it a balance between, you know, spending time with the kids as a family and then one-on-one time, you know, between me and my wife.
So you are also a touch me not. Your wife
Yes.
has no anything, feeling, emotion to touch you. Have she ever touched you?
Yeah, she has. Prior to my wife getting, us getting together, I was with straight females. So they had never
So this
been with
makes a lot
anybody.
of sense. And this
Yeah,
will clear up a lot of things on the Touch Me Not. So this
right.
is good.
But when I
Like,
did get with my wife, and she wanted to do certain things, I did it even though it was kind of, uncomfortable. I expressed that to her and she respected that. So for me, I don't think it was more so because I mainly dealt with, females that had never been with a female before, but between the ages of 7 and 9, I was molested. So, me, I, like Deani said, I get, pleasure from pleasing my wife. As long as I know that, once the moans and all of that get, that's where I get my pleasure by pleasing her.
Well, I'm very sorry about what happened to you when you was a child. That's horrible. Horrible.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that may be the reason why you became a Touch Me Not?
Maybe. But I never was that type to, be the touchy-feely where, it just felt uncomfortable, even after that, even with, being with my wife and, wanting to open up fully, it still was, an uncomfortable feeling, So, like I said, she respect that, so at the end of the day, like I said, me pleasing her, basically pleases me. That's where, I get my arousal from.
All right. Jack, the sex symbol. Show them abs, Jack. Show the ladies the abs. Show them ladies the abs, Jack.
Got none. I ain't got none. Here we go. I got a little bit. Little bit.
They all gonna be in your inbox now.
I hope not, because I just met somebody that I'm very
Oh, did you? Congratulations.
She'll probably be watching this, so she'll probably get some an info. So hopefully.
All right, don't go in Jack's inbox, please. Don't go in Sharika's inbox. She's married. Don't go in D-Rock inbox. But Deani inbox is wide open.
oh,
You can slide in them DMs right there.
Yes, I am available.
All right. All right, Jack, let's talk to you because you're different from the rest.
Everybody, I see.
Everybody, right. And I threw you was like my wild card I threw in here.
I see. It's cool. It's cool.
Let's talk about you because we posted up in the group today or yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And the question was, would you ride your woman's face? And the majority of the group, and the question was to the studs, the majority of the group was like, hell yeah, I will ride her face.
You're right.
And I was so shocked because they was very against the Touch Me Nots and very against the Pillow Princes, but they was jumping on their girlfriend's face. So, Jack.
Yes. Let's get it. I'm ready.
Let's get it. We ready?
Ready.
All right, so me and you had a conversation. And I'm gonna word this correctly. Me and you had a conversation, and the reason why I approached you is because it was under one of the posts you had said something and it made me contact you in reference to the show. And in our conversation, you stated that even though you're masculine presenting, you don't mind having penetration and you don't mind sitting on your woman's face?
Not at all.
Okay. I'm pro, here it is. My stance is here. I'm totally pro sex. I hate boundaries unless there's a reason I'm in love with, somebody, and then they have boundaries. I'm gonna respect the boundaries, but for the most part, I feel like the bedroom shouldn't have any boundaries. And I feel like, we're women at the end of the day. It's, it doesn't matter that if you label yourself stud, aggressor, whatever the case may be, when you take off your clothes, you have the same body parts as your femme counterpart. And as long as whatever happens behind closed doors stay within y'all, it shouldn't be a problem with what y'all decide to do. It should not take away from your masculinity part of you that you hold on to. So, Jax, how did you, have you always been this way, or has it been a progression?
It's been it's been a progression. When we're younger, you know, you go into the gay world or whatever, you know, and it's just what you see. You emulate men, but you got to understand, we don't, the men that we see aren't men, they're still boys. That's just my opinion. So, I gradually, like I said, I'll be 39 next month. So gradually I got to the point, I'm thinking like, I only date lesbians. So why should I hold back from what she likes, she enjoys doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, my pleasure does, like a lot of them, my pleasure does come from pleasing my woman, but also from a different aspect. Pleasing my woman may be, you know, pleasing me. You know what I'm saying? Like her being pleased may be reciprocity as well. She want to please me as well. That makes her have an orgasm or whatever you want to call it. So, you know, I haven't always been that way, but I am. I've been a tomboy all my life. So that's my sexuality in the bedroom is the only femininity I have. So I do embrace that. So yeah, I have no problem. I mean, absolutely no problem. It is what it is.
If your woman didn't want to strap onto you, would that be okay?
Perfectly fine. I mean, I don't have to have it every time we have sex, and neither does she, you know. Me personally, because I said I enjoy penetration, I few and far between, 2-3 times a year. I haven't had sex in 2 years, to be honest. So, because I'm waiting on the right person. So sex it is what it is. So, you know, but anything goes. Like I said, I like to embrace my femininity. I'm all woman in the bedroom. My motto in life, I'm strong enough to be your man, yet soft enough to be your woman. So I'm gonna give you everything that you should receive from a man, because that's the way we were taught. You know, to be treated like a man or a queen, and that's in society it comes from a man. So I'm gonna give you that, and I'm also gonna be your woman. So that's how I go.
At the end of the day, like I said, we all have the same body parts. And so there shouldn't be any boundaries in the bedroom. But if there is boundaries, then whoever you with should respect those.
Right.
We have a question. To those of you who have children or have raised children, where do you stand on allowing children to choose gender and or sexual preference at a young age? So, Jax, you have a child. Deanna, you don't have a kids, right? No, you do. 24-year-old, right? Sharika, you have kids?
Yeah, I have 2.
Okay, and D-Rock has 7. Okay. So how do you feel about your children and them allowing themselves to choose their gender or sexual preference at a young age? Like if your child came up to you and said that they feel like they're in the wrong body, or if your child came up to you and said that they was a lesbian, or if the child is a male, they are gay. How do you feel? How would you feel?
That's a tough question. It's a very sensitive question. For me personally, I would hope that my children wouldn't go through any of that, because I know the difficulties I went through, you know, coming out and going through that whole process. But I can honestly say I was very young when I knew that I was a lesbian. I just didn't know what it was called. I didn't have a name for it, but I was very young. So I do believe that children know, you know, in some way they know. I would honestly try my hardest to encourage them to be true to themselves, but at the same time, I wouldn't want to take it too far too soon, because they're still so young, and there's so much you got to learn about yourself and grow to understand. I feel like they don't understand a lot, but I certainly wouldn't. I would let them express themselves as much as possible. Maybe with the clothes they would wear, certain things, but I wouldn't want to make any permanent decisions or anything medically that, you know, at a younger age. But as far as letting them express themselves and letting them figure out, I would be as supportive as possible.
Okay. Deani?
Personally, at a young age, I'm a little like, nobody wants their son to grow up and be with a man, you know. That's just, I want him to play basketball, football, you know. That's, you know, my little area I was raised in. But I don't see, if he came to me and told me that at a young age or whatever, I would allow him to express who he is at that time, you know, and then develop, you know, get a little more mature, you know. It could be just something, you know, you're not sure about because your mom is a lesbian, you know, so, you know, you may be looking at it like that, but it's freedom. You're free to do and be whoever you choose to be and be great at it, whatever you choose to be. Be number one at it, for sure. So I really wouldn't, you know, encourage it, but I would support it as a mother of a son. Yeah.
Jack? You have a
I mean,
son.
I feel the same way. I do have a son, and at times, my son he's not gay, but he's just him. Which I don't think he's not interested in men, but he doesn't really care what people think. And my son is an e-boy, if that makes sense. So he wears the black fingernail polish and he wears all of that. Now
Oh,
that
he's
was hard.
emo.
Yeah. So that was it was hard for me to accept, but then I had to, you know, in retrospect, I'm sure it was hard for my mom to respect it. Yeah. So I don't have a problem with it. At a young age, I wish I had done that. Like, I didn't come out. I got married first, and I had my son, and I did all that. I wish I had, you know, the freedom that the kids have today. It's unparalleled. They have a lot of freedom, and I don't really. If he came out that way, it is what it is. It's unconditional love. That's your job as a parent. Nobody, like you said, nobody wants their child to be gay or open because of the path we went through. It was hard. It's not easy, especially masculine presenting or stud. So it's not easy. So, but I would be there every step of the way, whatever he chooses.
T-Rock?
For me, I would be supportive. I wouldn't necessarily say that they would be at that age choosing to be either gay or lesbian. For me personally, I feel like it wasn't a choice. But, you know, if they came to me and said, you know, well, I'm gay or I'm a lesbian, you know, I would be supportive, you know, because I know how hard it was when I was growing up, you know, at an early age. I knew that I was different, but I didn't, you know, point at it and say, oh, okay, well, because I'm attracted to women or I'm a lesbian or what have you. But it was hard going through all of that by myself, you know, suicide attempts, you know, feeling like, okay, well, what's wrong with me? Why am I not normal? You know, but, you know, if one of my children went through it, you know, like I said, I would be supportive, you know, to try to get them through the process a little bit more easier than I had it, you know, because it's pretty much another area of being prejudiced towards people. But for me personally, I don't feel like it's a choice. But at the end of the day, I would be supportive. Now, as far as if a child was saying, you know, I don't feel like I'm in the right body as far as leaning towards a sex change or what have you, I would still be supportive, but still, in a sense, guiding that direction, because at a young age, you really can't make those types of decisions. But like I said, I would still support them, you know, once they got old enough, you know, maybe 18, 19 years old, you know, that would be something different, you know, but like I said, I'd just be supportive.
My daughter my daughter came out as a lesbian. I think she might have been 12. She told me that she kissed her friend and she was in Catholic school. And I immediately thought that it's all my fault because I'm a lesbian. Even though I didn't bring women around her, I was very careful with that. I just felt like I was giving off that energy on that's what she should have did. And I sat and I waited. I even got excited the end of that school year. She had to go to a dance and she went with a boy. And I was so excited. So, okay, she's going with a boy. But she just took the boy to the school dance and she continued being a lesbian. And now she's 26 years old and she states she's pansexual. And I've never, ever, like, I never shunned her. She is who she is. She went through the emo stage, like what your son went through, Dax. She, you know, I just feel like you have to support your children in anything. I do agree with that. If she was a boy, I would be more afraid for him. Because boys are just treated really bad. And I think feminine women as lesbians, and even now in this time, I mean, I didn't have a problem coming out. When I came out, my mother, you know, I told her in an argument, Mom, I'm a lesbian. And she was like, oh, tell me something you don't know. Tell me something I don't know. Like, she already knew. She didn't care. And so I didn't have those issues coming out, but also I'm not masculine presenting. So I can also pass where I'm in the street and men holler at me, women holler at me. And men think it's sexy if you tell them that you're into women, where they find you a threat if you're dressing like them. And if it's a boy, men find that a threat because they think that they're a sissy. So I think it's harder for studs and gay men in our community than it is for lesbians, feminine presenting lesbians. So yeah, that was a hard question, because your children, you want the best for your children at the end of the day, but you want to allow them to grow. So just being supportive in anything that they do, I think that's the correct answer on that. Let's talk about, what do you label yourself in this community, if you even give yourself a label? And why do you find that label comfortable? Even no label is a label. I tell people all the time, oh, they go, no label. I'm like, you just gave yourself a label. You're no label. Because the community has no label. Oh, she's no label. That's your label, no label. So what would you call yourself, or what do you call yourself in the community, and how did you come about that? D-Rock?
Well, I'm a stud. I personally, associate with being a stud because of how I dress. It's more of a masculine type thing. And when I'm at work, I work in the warehouse, drive forklifts, and I work with a whole bunch of guys. And that's the environment that I'm comfortable with. But, like on a home front, I still have my feminine ways to a certain degree, as far as the cleaning and, laundry or what have you. But you know what I'm saying? What a lot of people fail to realize is that just because I might say I'm a stud doesn't mean that I want to be a man. And a lot of people don't understand that. They see me walk, well, what's up, man? Or what's up, bro? Or whatever, refer to me as a guy. But it's like, at the end of the day, I'm still a female. I don't want to be a man, and there's nothing wrong with, females wanting to, transfer over to being a man, to each his own. But for me, I don't want to be a man, and just because I dress, in comfortable clothes, which happen to be men clothes, I'm a stud, plain and simple.
Jack?
I'm just Miranda. Really good. I'm two tits about that. I don't know if I can curse, but I don't. My sexual preference ain't got nothing to do with who I am. You know what I mean? Not in this entirely. I'm just Miranda. Do I love women? Absolutely, but that's just not all about who I am. So that's it.
Sharika?
I definitely consider myself a stud. Just again, with D-Rock said, the way I dress, I'm comfortable. I've always been a tomboy, even as like my mama would have to make me, get pretty hairstyles and wear like feminine clothes. That's just never been me. So just around the older studs that I grew up with, I'm like, okay, that's me. I'm a stud. But as she said, I definitely don't want to be a man. And and like at home, I'm mommy. My daughter calls me mommy. I'm mama. I'm not, daddy. Like some stuff. Like I physically carry my daughter. I did it through IUI because I wasn't gonna take no D. You know what I mean? But yeah, but I gave birth to her. Like being a mother, that's something I always wanted. So that, like I said, and I still have my feminine side, especially when I'm with my daughters, because I still want them to see me in that light. There's, like I got a hat on. When I go in the house, I take that off. It's just certain stuff I don't do around them just because I still want them to see me. It's like I said, I'm mommy. So definitely, but I definitely consider myself a stud.
Deani?
I identify myself as a lesbian. I don't mind being called a stud but I identify as a woman that loves women, Early on, my mom, put me in dresses and my hair was always done and it felt good to look good, of course, but it didn't feel like it was me. So I switched up my dress, I hid it. I hid it from friends. I hid it from family for a long time before I actually was like, psh. And I didn't actually like my my sister told my mom and dad that, who I was and what I was. I never really got the chance to like sit them down and be like, look, this is what's up. But I've always been attracted to, women at a very young age. I could say middle school, elementary, even high school, but I had to live in how I lived and, I had to hide it. It wasn't okay with my family, so I hid it for a long time, but I'm out and I'm a lesbian. I love women. I still have my feminine qualities like everybody else. My hair gotta be right. I love my hair. This is my pride and joy. I'm a Leo. This is my main.
Oh, a Leo.
So yeah, I'm a lesbian and don't mind being called a stud, but don't call me somebody that's trying to be no man because like everybody else said, I don't want to be no man. I'd go pay for it and do it if I wanted. I don't want to do that. I'm who I am, so I'm not going to change that. I'm a woman that loves women.
Okay, all right. How old were each of you when you first had sex with a man? Unless you're a platinum lesbian. Platinum lesbians never had sex with men. I'm not platinum. Well, none of you are because you all have kids. Oh, well, Sharika could. Sharika could have because she had IUI. So, but what's the first time that you had sex with a male and the age of the first time you had sex with a woman? D-Rock?
Let me think. Sex with a man, I was in college, so I would say maybe 18, 19 years old. And with the female, I believe I was 27, 26, 27.
Sharika?
Hey, she gonna D-Rock, you making me sound horrible. I was like, damn. I was 15 with the first time with a guy. I was 15, and with a girl, I wouldn't call it sex, but I was already exploring sexual activities with girls far earlier. I would say I was probably like 8, 9. We didn't have sex, but you kissing and rubbing and
Right.
all that other stuff. Yeah, so I was humping girls like about 8 or.
Yanni?
With the man, it was my when I went to college. That's when I had sex. I would go to the prom and everything with dudes, because I couldn't tell mama them, I was with, but I wouldn't, that was just a picture, we go to the prom, he leave, I leave, I go my separate way, but it was when I went to college, probably about 19, and the female, yeah, I'm like, my homie here, I was humping my neighbors in the neighborhood about 12 or 13,
Right.
You know what we do. Yeah. It was girls first. And dudes later. I think I did the dudes later just to see if, for myself, do I really like women? Is that who I want to be with? And yes, because zero pleasure out of that, but I did get my baby out of it, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Jax, what you get? Talk to me, Jax.
I get it. You wanna go with your family. You wanna please your family. That's a hard thing to do. Yeah, like I got married at 18. So, and then I had my son. My son is, and then I was in the military. You get paid more money if you're married in the military, so shit happened. But yeah, I was 18 with the man, and I was 21 with a woman, and I ain't been back since. So.
Okay. So we know that Deani's a Leo. D-Rock, what's your sign?
Cancer. I'm the last day of Cancer, the July 22nd.
You so emotional. You so emotional. You are so emotional.
That I'm not. I used to be. I will say that I used to be, but now my wife, has a problem with me. She's like, yeah, my emotions just, I don't know if it was because after I had my hysterectomy or what, but my emotions, it takes a lot for me to get emotional.
Because I know cancers watch movies and start crying, and I'll be looking at them like,
yeah, no, I don't do that. My wife does it, and I'm like, are you crying?
She's a Cancer?
Yes, she's her birthday is July 20th.
Oh, yeah, the July Cancers are very emotional. Jax, what's your sign?
Virgo.
I was about to say you give me Virgo vibes. I should have said it before you said it. You give me total Virgo vibes. Oh my God. When's your birthday?
September 1st.
Oh, I'm the 14th. Hey, Virgo.
What's up?
Sharika.
I'm a Cancer. Now, my birthday on June 21st. So depending on where you look, it says Gemini and some, and it says Cancer and other. But I'm going to claim that Cancer. I ain't no Gemini.
Yeah, don't claim that Gemini.
No, I dated one. No, I ain't that crazy. So I'm going to go with Cancer. I'm a Cancer.
There we go.
I dated one too, and I ain't never been back. Gemini's a special people.
I know I'm not a Gemini. Yeah, for real.
And me and her is still cool, but as friends, not as in a relationship. All right. In our community, we box people up into labels and categories for whatever reason. And we seem to stereotype our own people in our community. We discussed that earlier. For example, you see a Black female dressed like one of you in the street, or maybe let's just say she has on a white V-neck t-shirt, jeans, and sneakers. And maybe she's having a bad hair day. She has a hat on, and underneath the hat, she has a fade. No makeup. And she's walking with a woman with a dress on and heels. What do you assume about the one in the sneakers and the baseball cap? D-Rock.
You would assume that she's a stud.
You would assume.
But not me personally.
No, I'm asking you what you would assume.
Oh, I wouldn't assume that. Because everybody, just because I'm a quote unquote stud and I dress masculine, doesn't mean that every female that I see that dress masculine is a quote unquote stud. It's just you know, clothing. You know, you might have somebody that's a femme, you know, not dominant, and she might just be comfortable in, you know, a big t-shirt, baggy shorts, or what have you. But I think that falls in part of the problem where so many people want to put certain people in a box as soon as they see you. Just like if I go somewhere and, you know, I have my dreads down, and especially now that we wearing masks, you know, dreads down, you know, baggy shorts, or what have you, people looking at me, you know, clutching their purses or whatever. I'm not even minding you no attention. You don't know me from a can of paint. But just based off of how I look, you know, people have a head full of assumptions. So for me personally, when I see that, you know what I'm saying, I'll be like, you know, that's another happy couple. I don't see, oh, a stud, a femme, or what have you, just because that's how I might label myself.
Could they have just been friends? They had to be a couple?
Not necessarily, but it just depends on their body language and what they're giving off.
Okay, I agree. I agree. How do you feel about the stereotypes in our community? Like, Jax, how did you feel when we posted up that question and they was all saying, you know, they had their comments. I had my comments. I throw them in trash too, because I'm sexually free. So I don't think that I could ever be with a touch me not. That's not somebody that I personally could be with.
Right.
Not Jax, I'm sorry. Deani, how did you feel when they was saying all of that?
I wanted to be defensive, you know. I want to defend, you know, my statue, you know, and explain, you know, why I am a touch me not, you know, at this point in my life. Some of the comments, you know, I overlooked a lot of them, you know, throw them all away, get out, you know, overlooked them. But I also, you know, I'm glad you came and was like, let's explain this. Let's, you know, let's dig a little deeper so we can figure it out, and maybe won't be biased to a touch me not and just want to throw them away. Like I said, I'm waiting on the right one, you know, to be able to open that part of me up that hasn't been, you know, indulged in or whatever. But, you know, when it comes, you know, then I may not be a touch me not, you know. Hopefully I'm down the aisle and that's my wife, and she's the first one to experience that with me, because it's going to be a first time for me in that area, you know. And it may not be every day or every time we have sex, but I will let her know, you know, I can gradually get into it. Maybe, you know, once a month, and we go twice a month, you know, you can do that. Because like I said, it's a part of me, my heart, my soul, the love I have, everything entangles in one. So until she understands that, you know, I'll be able to open up a little better then. But
I respect that. I mean, let me word this right. I respect how you respect your private part,
Right.
your vagina. And I heard you say that a couple of times, and you know, that area is precious. So, you know, just giving it away so freely to just anybody, what do you leave for the special someone in your life? So I get it. I do get it. And I hope that other people is hearing that and see that just because so freely we like, give me head, give me head, give me head, give me head, is okay with us. You know, you saving yourself for someone special.
yeah, I guess you could say it that way. I am, you know, saving it, and I you know, I don't freely give out head either. I mean, you know, I don't freely give that out to a random person. I have to be able to know her spirit, her heart, her soul. She has, you know, we have to be intertwined, not only emotionally or intimately, but also spiritually, you know. So it runs a little deep for me, You know, so yeah.
Sex
Absolutely.
is very mental and it's very deep. And I mean, but in the same breath, people can have sex and not have any feelings behind it. But I just feel like with women, our sex is very emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Some women, you have sex with them and they love you. They in love with you. It's like you took a piece of their soul. It's true about soul snatching. And I feel that with women. No, seriously, because
Yeah.
you get up and they be like, oh, I love you. You be like, wait, we just had sex. What are you talking
Right.
about?
Yeah.
You know, and I can imagine y'all over there slinging the strap and these girls like, oh, Lord, Lord, daddy.
Yeah.
Do you like for your women to call you daddy? D-Rock?
No.
No?
Hell no.
Right.
I'm a female.
Right.
Don't
I
call
don't-
me
Deani?
daddy. I don't want daddy, zaddy, nothing that rhymes with that.
Not
I'm
even
not,
zaddy?
not even zaddy. I'm not on that. I can't. I
What
can't.
about you, Deani?
No, I don't like daddy. Don't daddy me at all.
What about zaddy?
It's a turn off.
Is it turn off?
No. Yeah.
Jax, you look like a zaddy.
It depends on if you're role playing or not. So I like to get deep. So yeah.
Okay, all right. Sharika?
If it's during sex, it's cool, but other than that, no. You know, if it's in the moment and it come out, I'm with it. But yeah, not on a regular basis or just to refer to me that, no.
All right. Do I have any questions? You need to post your questions up soon. If you have any questions, post up your questions so I can ask them. All right. So Deani, you single.
Yes.
What's your type? So they know before they start sliding in your DM.
I like bougie women all the way, stilettos, nails, hair, perfect in every aspect, you know. Has to be intellectual as well. She got to be able to teach me some things I don't know, you know, book wise, you know, street wise, whatever it may be. But I like pretty girls. Yeah, that's my type.
Height, size, complexion.
I like tall women, long legs. That's my thing. I like long legs. And,
How tall are you?
I'm 5'8".
You want them taller than you?
Man, you on Sasquatch, man.
Even her still.
Lisa Leslie around here.
I like that. You know.
Oh
But
my
I
goodness.
can't limit that. I take a short girl, you know, and I like dark.
She gotta wear 6-inch heels.
Not all the time. Yeah, and I like dark skin.
Oh, you like dark skin? Okay. No light skin girls. Light skin girls don't slide up. And this is nothing against. And this is, you know, I want to stress this because people get offended when they hear something like, oh, I like dark skin girls, and so the light skin girls get offended. Or when you say, oh, I like light skin girls, the dark skin girl get offended. These are people preferences. And it's just that, it's your preference. You have the right to date and want whoever you want. Hands down. Not saying that you're not saying that all Black women or all women are beautiful. You're just saying your preference is that you like them dark.
Right.
I just want to put that disclaimer out there. I don't want nobody going your inbox. What you mean? We got another question. What happened? What'd you say?
Then let me just say brown.
In a world where there is so much toxic masculinity, where do you draw the line on your masculinity? So I guess toxic meaning So we're discussing things that men maybe do that are toxic. I don't know. I don't understand the question,
I
Rhonda.
don't get the question at all.
Yeah,
I've been
trying to get her to clarify.
Yeah.
What's toxic? Yeah. Where you live, Deani?
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh my goodness, I'm from OKC. I was born in OKC.
Oh, hey.
Hey, I only go back once a year to visit family. That's it. I only go back once a year to visit family. That's it. And my niece lives in Tulsa. So if I go to OKC, I drive an hour to see her in Tulsa. Dax, where you at?
I'm in Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, Memphis. All right. Sharika, you in Atlanta, right?
No,
Where are you?
I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Really?
Milwaukee. Yep.
There's Black people out there?
And I can get there all the time. We out here. I promise you, we out here.
Wow.
How many of y'all? 100?
Yeah, maybe 200.
Where you?
I'm in Florida.
Oh, okay. What part of Florida?
Well, I'm in Brandon, but that's like maybe 10 minutes from Tampa, 10, 15 minutes from Tampa.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Well, we don't have any more questions. And I'm so happy that y'all came on here tonight because I really feel like we unpacked a lot of things and we broke down some stereotypes on studs, the way that studs is seen. Like, you know, just because you're a stud doesn't mean that you don't want penetration. You don't want to sit on your woman's face. You don't want to be fingered. You don't want your breasts caressed or sucked. You just a stud because you have more masculinity than most women and you like dressing like a man. Do we agree? You have something to say? Everybody's quiet. Do you agree with what I said?
Well, I agree to a certain degree.
All right, so let's talk about it.
I agree to a certain degree. I feel like, you know, yeah, I don't do the penetration at all. So if there is studs like Jax that, you know, they like that, they're enjoying that there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, oh, she a stud, you know, she getting dick behind it. But at the end of the day, she's still a female. That's what a lot of people don't understand.
She didn't say that she's having sex with men. She said,
people, I get what she's saying. People, that's the stigma that comes along with it. So that's what people are automatically going to think. But what you really have to realize is the fact that I'm open about it lets you know that I'm not sleeping with a man. The ones that are not open about it,
yeah, they are
doing shit they ain't got no business doing. I'm completely open with what I do. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Deani?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question for me, please?
We was basically finishing up breaking down the stigmas and how do you feel about the stigmas of being a stud in our community, how people see you, what they assume about you.
Honestly, I can't say just I'm cutthroat, like I don't care. It don't bother me what people think or what they say, you know, as long as I'm respected, you know. That's the number one. You're going to have to respect me or, you know, get, or I can't mess with you or, you know, you're not in my circle. That's all I demand. I don't care about the side comments. I don't care about what you think, how you feel about it, what I'm doing, any of that. Is just you're going to respect me, who I am as a person. Don't disrespect it. That's how I view it.
Rika?
I agree for mostly what you said. But a lot of, again, being a stud is more just about, you know, how I dress or whatever. Like it's a lot to do with me. I'm a protector. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's so much more to me than just how I dress and how I present
Absolutely.
myself. And a lot of time people don't even get to, want to get past that. They see how you look and it's like, oh, okay. They have no interest in anything more than that. So we are more than how we dress or how we walk. And like people need to get past the physical appearance and just try to really, get to know people more. That's what I feel they need to do.
D-Rock, you had something to say?
No, I just pretty much was, saying the same thing. If it all boils down to respect, if somebody posts something that they may be into or what have you, if you don't agree with it or it might not fit for you, that's fine. But, don't downgrade or talk about the next person that might like it.
That's what I'm
Everybody
saying.
is different,
Right.
and it's about, embracing and accepting the difference, in each person, because it doesn't make Jax, any less of a person because there are certain things that she likes. I gave birth to 2 girls, and it wasn't, oh, I'm confused, this, that, and the third. I'm gonna be honest. Yes, I already knew what I liked, but at the same time, I wanted kids of my own, so that's the route I took. But I was also trying to please my family. So yeah, I got married, had my kids, but at the same time, I had to say, you know what? I got tired of existing. I wanted to live. I didn't want to just be a part of the population. I wanted to live because at the end of the day, I have more to give. But if I'm out there trying to please everybody and make everybody else happy, I'm losing myself. And that was too much of an expensive price to pay. So at the end of the day, yeah, this is who I am, period, point of blank. You like it or leave it, period.
Okay. Rhonda clarified, and let me see. Males in society spread so much sexism and engage in violence against women. Where do you draw the line in your masculinity?
Does
Oh
that
no, we both
mean
women
that?
now.
So,
Well, I'm not gonna be nobody that we
let
can't.
me fix the question a little bit.
Jesus.
A lot of studs mimic the heterosexual norm. So like Sharika said, I'm a provider.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take care of my house. I'm gonna take care of my wife. I'm gonna take care of my kids. That's what I'm gonna do. That's mimicking a good man. A good man is going to do that. He's gonna feel like he wants to take care of his household. He wants to take care of his kids. He want to be the protector. Where I'm sure your wife, she may not feel, she may be protective, but she allows you to take the role to be the protector. Let's talk about how you mimic the heterosexual society or males. We're not worried about it being toxic because we're going to assume that nobody's here is toxic. But how do you mimic the heterosexual norms?
Oh, I think that's something that's very important to me. Like just being the person that I am, being stable, even over my family, not even dealing with my relationship. That's always been me. Wanting to provide, wanting to protect everybody. I just think that's my personality. So when I get in a relationship with somebody, it's very important that you let me lead because that's what I'm comfortable doing. So that's something I'm gonna need you to do. I don't know how to cook, so my wife has to cook, or we're gonna be eating out all the time. Like that's just not something I do. Yep, I do the yard work. Yep, I take out the garbage. A lot of that is I take on the role of what the man would do. But when it comes to, you know, important things such as, being able to communicate or, all those things, I feel like that's where my femininity come in. Like I don't, I don't, I won't, I can't necessarily, all men are a certain way, but from what I see, that's where I kind of cut it off at. If I would have to say when it comes to like the important intimacy and, details of a relationship where, like I said, we're both women when it comes to those things.
Jax?
I'm very independent, so there's nothing I cannot do. I can cook you a 4-course meal, and I can go out and change your oil as well. So I don't mimic. I guess I do. You know, I'm gonna be the perfect gentlewoman, I call it. I'm gonna open your doors. You ain't never got to pump your gas. I'm gonna give you the things that you should receive in a heterosexual relationship, or the way society teaches us to be. And also, and I said before, I'm also gonna be your woman. So strong enough to be your man, soft enough to be your woman. So I'm gonna give it to you all. So that's what I got.
Deani?
I'm definitely, I like to take on the role of, you know, the housework, the getting things done at the house, fixing things, the car, the lawn, all that. But also, you know, I have my feminine traits where I like to cook, and if you don't know how to do your own hair, I can do your hair. I like to do hair too. I like to do my woman's hair, you know, stuff like that. So I just take on the role because that's who I am as a person. You know, I'm going to take care of the majority of the needs that need to be met around the household.
D-Rock?
For me, it's just basically us just being ourselves. My wife cooks, you know, I cook, but I don't cook as well as she does. But it's
Like,
not
give her props.
right. It's not a set thing like, okay, you cook and I'll do this. It just flows. But certain things she will not do, like, you know, I'll do the yard, you know, the boys and I take out the garbage, you know, I will make sure the car is clean, what have you. But you know, and it goes back to what Sharika was saying, as far as, you know what I'm saying, being a protector and a provider, you know, and things of that nature. But at the same time, you know, my wife is also a provider as well. So it's not necessarily me, you know, well, I'm the man in the relationship and you the female in the relationship. It's just the way that things flow naturally. So I can't say that I'm mimicking, you know, not purposely like mimicking a heterosexual relationship. I'm just being me. So if me being, you know, the provider, the protector, you know, if it's a noise being heard and I'm the one that gets up, you know, but that's just a natural thing, you know, so.
Right. Get it.
All right. Well, I really enjoyed talking to all of you, and I appreciate you all being so transparent. I mean, each time that I spoke to you in the group that I made, and I kept saying, do we have any boundaries in this conversation? Let me know so I don't cross any lines. And all of you were so open and was like, no, we're good. We're going to talk. We're going to be transparent. So I really appreciate that. And I hope tonight that we open some eyes. And, you know, people will view, quote unquote, touch me nots and studs differently. So I really appreciate all of you. And thank you so much for coming on and having this conversation with me.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.